So, and Shanji's not giving this away either. The fact that Shanji's on the top side bullying Xiaolahu means that this is set up for a cheese kill. Xiaolahu is going to walk straight into the hook of Zhuo. Photic is being set up for first blood here. Xiaolahu flashes the ignite, burning, and he will survive.
In Game 4 of Ninjas and Pyjamas vs FunPlus Phoenix in 2024 Spring Playoffs, NIP conducted a lane swap strategy that impacted the entire map and resulted in a 2,000 gold lead by 4 minutes into the game. The rest of the game that followed felt almost trivial, partly due to FPX's draft and the way they responded, but this isn't the first time that NIP have conducted the strategy. And in fact, I'd like to argue that even if we've called strategies like this cheese in the past, NIP's version is replicable and difficult to counter, since I, 1, have predicted 2 series in a row against NIP winning incorrectly, and 2, haven't made many videos this year. I thought it would only be fair to do a short one talking about the strategy and why it works so well for NIP. When NIP first used the strategy, it was against Thundertalk. I thought it was specifically an anti-smolder strategy. Because of Smolder's low cooldown ultimate with wave clear and ability to get increased stacks on trading frequently, my main theory was that camping and fighting Smolder to kill him early or stack dragons was pointless on 14.5, especially after level 6. It was far better to beef up frontline and blow open top, where less successful wave clear champions usually live. If you take enough towers to the point where you can end the game with a fight at 25 minutes, you probably win. If your frontline survives longer than Smolder's frontline, you probably win. So the swap, of course, brought the fight away from Smolder, looked for gank angles against the enemy top laner, and snowballed the game through structures getting taken faster. In theory. But the first swap didn't quite go that way. First, both of NIP's swaps have been against renekton. Despite being generally an early game god, renekton has a pretty weak level 1 and can't touch the wave right away in most matchups. It also makes it very difficult for him to contest any early invade if opponents walk in for wards or to force a split map scenario. Against TT, Shanji made a point of showing top first, as is normal in standard level 1s, to avoid tipping anyone off. But watch how the rest of the swap plays out. They managed to place a ward here, but afterwards, since both jungle and top and mid are showing on this area, it's very easy for bot lane, Photic and Dua, to understand that they can walk into topside and leash the enemy blue for their jungler. Right now in the game, you can notice that Hoya probably knows he's in a bit of trouble. He tries to maybe mess with them, stall out the blue take, whatever he's thinking exactly. Either way, he ends up blowing his flash, right here, you see it, in order to either be in time for the wave, or just to get to the other side safely without having to be in too much trouble. After leashing though, something kind of interesting happens. You see Photic not hitting the top wave in order to get it to the turret faster. After leashing blue, Dua will basically walk up to join him. He tries to catch out the renekton, takes a little bit of a turret shot, but the idea I think behind it is more or less to get him low enough for a dive. This stalls enough time for the enemy Braum to walk top in order to protect the renekton from a dive play, and it makes it very clear at this point that the play can't happen. When it's clear and they get the wave in, Triss will recall to head back bot, and Shanji will TP top, and the game will proceed pretty normally other than Draw taking the timer to walk mid and go for a cheeky little gank. Typically in these swap scenarios, I've seen the Tristana or other fast pushing ADC get the wave quickly to limit reaction time from the opposition. So this was a little bit weird to me that they opened up the window for Braum to go top. It made me think making the dive work was really important to NIP. Setting renekton behind seemed to be like the focus. Sure enough, in the version of the dive that came to the table against FPX, there was a few adaptations that more or less confirmed that theory. First, Jinx actually makes appearance to show bot first. You can see Varus pinging her. Varus and Jinx see each other. So this makes it even harder to scout because everyone is in their place in the standard 5-point level 1 start. Second, I don't know how many people remember this, but once upon a time, when the lane swap meta was basically the norm, the lane swap scout ward from blue side was placed on a bush near enemy Krugs camp so you could see bot lane walking over through the lane. NIP actually went through the trouble of circumventing this potential ward by walking through the jungle, even if FPX didn't place it in this case. Next comes Shanji part. Not only does Shanji stay top here, he runs into the jungle on Udyr and gets renekton to very low health. This is the part that can only be done with this specific type of draft. The enemy topside 3v3 in both this game and the one that they played against TT had a very specific, strong level 1 3v3. Since they know that enemy bot is bot, there's no one to contest Udyr here. Renekton has no ghost, so Udyr can literally just run at you and force you to take damage, so you either flash or take damage and TP back. Of course, Xiaolahu kind of messes up here, since not only did Shanji not have to use his ghost, but Xiaolahu also didn't base after taking damage. Then he walked into lane despite bot lane pinging that NIP's bot lane was not here and took a hook to the face out of Fog. But, you know, it's fine, this video isn't about Xiaolahu. With low HP, Renekton no flash on split map, NIP guarantees first blood, and Shanji has extra time before he has to go bot. NIP then fast pushed their wave, Shanji ganks mid instead of draw in the previous game, and went bottom to try rush to leash XP, get level 2, and collect the wave. Honestly, the rest of what happens more or less results from mistakes blamed by FPX, so let's just skip that and break down some of the important criteria that made this swap happen. 1. NIP make a point of having their bot lane show early on bot side and their top lane show early on top side to imitate a standard 5-point start. 2. The AD carry, as is normal in these swaps, has a faster push than the opponent ADC, so Trist or Jinx in these cases versus Smolder or Bars. 3. The draft has a much stronger topside 3v3, specifically executing the strategy against Renekton both games at level 1. 4. They specifically targeted putting the enemy top laner down on gold or summoners or some other advantage. 5. They didn't have any specific bans to set this up and simply took the existing draft condition as an okay to do it. Now, I'm not saying the strategy has no counters. In fact, in both cases, the level 1 for the enemy support was stronger and probably could have bailed out the top laner. You can force some kind of split map or some kind of answer to a split map with Braum or Rumble, but that also makes me think that Nautilus is probably a part of the conditions for the draft. With not W and Aftershock, no one really wants to brief force fate check a Nautilus because he can take W in the moment, auto reset, and flip the game, even if you theoretically win level 1, right? Nautilus might be essential for the NIP strat in this particular case, because outside of the strategy taking place against Renekton, he's the only consistent champion between both DT and FPX case. It could also be possible that strong level 1 supports are something NIP want to avoid with the swap, even if my current running theory is that this is an anti-Renekton strategy. This is even funnier to me because instead of NIP coaching staff remembering that lane swaps exist and thinking, hey, Renekton sucks and our bot lane aren't the best laners, so maybe we can lane swap against it and use old dark tech, apparently Draw literally played against it in solo queue. You can read the story on their Weibo if you read Chinese, I've linked it in the description. For me, what actually sells how cool this strategy is the detail that they went into in fine-tuning the second iteration of it when they played against FPX. The fact that it seems like Fotic can draw a path to avoid the lane swap wars I haven't seen place in Season 6 is another level and probably also not even intentional. Either way, I probably wouldn't have made this video without it, so there it is, guys. The close-up on the minimap where Jinx walks over the non-existent ward that could theoretically exist but doesn't. Enjoy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this lane swap strat just well-made Gouda and ultra counterable? Do you want a history of lane swap video to hear about GAM in 2017? Or do you want me to stop doubting NIP, Rookie the God, and predict them to win Worlds? I don't know. Let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm, and have a good one.